But moving on to Seth Rollins versus his mystery opponent. So who did Mr. McMahon choose for Seth Rollins' opponent? That was the big question on everyone's mind. This was the thing that I was most looking forward to. Um, the biggest match that I was looking forward to at WrestleMania. Um, it was pretty wild. I believe everybody kind of knew it was going to be Cody, but did we believe it? Because all the rumors um, that have been going around going around the dirt sheets and internet for the last couple months have been just outrageously ridiculous. All the rumored things that people had heard and this and that. And I was hearing some crazy shit the other day about somebody on a podcast was talking about how Cody is, uh, Tony Khan had bought Impact and Cody was gonna come and compete with him on, on a kayfabe level, and they were gonna do some kind of invasion angle and with the Impact guys, and Cody was gonna be involved with all the Ring of Honor shit going on, and it was a big work on everybody, and and in all reality, it was Cody trying to get back to where he belongs in the big time. You know, he's never gonna wrestle in front of 70 plus thousand people working at AEW. It's not gonna happen. He's not gonna have that big moment. Um, WCW's biggest event was, besides the Korea event with Inoki, that everybody was forced to attend. But WCW's biggest accomplishment, their biggest live event was, I believe, the Georgia Dome, when they hosted 50,000 people when Goldberg won, beat Hollywood Hogan for the WCW Heavyweight Championship. And, that was their biggest moment. And can AEW get 45,000 people in an arena? We got to find out, and damn sure ain't going to get 77,000, 899, whether that number's inflated or not. But, everybody was kind of curious who's Seth going to come out and face, and Seth's, he's pretty excited about it all, and he's in the ring waiting, and the suspense is killing everybody, and then the lights go out, and before WrestleMania started, or before this match, everybody, was thinking Cody, but if it wasn't Cody, it could have been The Fiend, and the lights go out. But it just got comfortably dark in the arena, if you know what I'm saying. Like, the darkness lit up the arena in a Cody Rhodes kind of way. There was like a vibe going on, almost when Seth Rollins was in the ring, and the way the commentators were acting, you almost believe that Cody is coming out. And when he did, it's like, I cannot believe this is happening, and I'm sure everybody felt that way. This is so crazy. Not just because what he did in AEW and for AEW and against WWE, all the interviews and the talks and the shit that he said in the interviews, not just all that, but coming for the Rhodes family and for Cody himself and his career, coming full circle, coming back to the WWE as a different man. He went out, he when he left the WWE, he did a lot of things, and he accomplished a lot of things. He was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, had a big moment against Nick Aldis, and did a lot of great stuff, with the Young Bucks and Ring of Honor guys, and just, everybody he impacted. And he learned a lot, and he taught the younger guys what he knew, and he made a huge impact while he was gone. But you can only do so much in the indies. I believe, like I was just saying, AEW is only going to get so big. They're not going to get WWE big. Some guys, that means the world to them more than money. Uh, that big WrestleMania moment that we saw last night with Cody, with Kevin Owens, that we're going to get to. Some people are talking shit today saying that he got buried. No, he did not. He's going to, we'll get to all that later, but Kevin Owens is going to come out of this. You're going to remember that for 20, 30 years. It's going to be a moment. So, but okay. So anyhow, Cody Rhodes comes out. He's Seth Rollins' opponent, and we're going to get to the match here. He's walking to the ring, and AEW fans had been giving Cody shit for a very long time, and I think that's a lot of what forced him out. And Cody's coming back as a different man. He's coming down to the ring, and how I hoped he would. He's coming down in his Cody Rhodes American Nightmare gear. It's not Stardust. It's not ravishing whatever, dashing Cody Rhodes. It's his brand that he's built for himself and for the Rhodes name these past few years. It's just amazing, and you can see the passion, and you live for that moment. If you're a wrestler, that's you can venture out and do your thing and go other different places, but your heart will always want to be at WrestleMania. And I believe that's true with Chris Jericho. I think he'll show back up again one day. But Cody's coming back, as Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. Just a chilling entrance, a chilling walk down in the ring. You could tell his heart was beating fast, and he was in the moment. And I'm sure at that moment he knew he made the right decision. And I think we all should be happy for Cody. I'll get back to what I was saying about AEW. Always, AEW fans giving him a hard time, and him and Brandy a hard time for what? He gave his body to you guys. He didn't have to. He worked without a freaking contract against Sammy Guevara and almost killed himself in a freaking ladder match, because he loved you guys, and he didn't get back the same. He didn't get back the same energy that he gave, and that's a damn shame. So he's back to where, a fan base that's going to appreciate him, and I damn sure appreciate what he's doing and what he did, and even Seth Rollins out there, what he did last night too. Corey Graves, while he was walking to the ring, Corey Graves says he came from undesirable to now undeniable. And now, there's no denying he's on the biggest, grandest stage. He's got the fireworks. What now? Young Bucks, Adam Cole, whoever's talking shit. What now? All the AEW fanboys, whatever, Anyway, so they get in the ring, there's a stare down. Crowd's going ape shit. Cody hits the ropes back and forth. They're dodging and ducking, clotheslines back and forth off the ropes, and Cody hits the ropes and catches Seth with an arm drag, and then after the arm drag, there's kind of a taunt, and then Cody Rhodes does the Stardust flip, and then he does the Stardust gimmick, and he pops up and he's like, pumped, and whether he was paying homage or paying shit to that, or it's like Corey Graves, like, once again, he was like, Corey Graves putting him over big time in this match, and all the commentators did a good job, but he said he's shedding his skin, his old skin, he's that was a a toss at what's the word for it? He's basically shedding his skin and becoming his own, coming back to WWE as a new person, and somebody that should be taken seriously, and not a lower mid carder like he was before. He proved that last night, and he had been proving that in AEW for years that he's the man, and even in the Indies. But so they're fighting back and forth. No one has the real advantage. Each man tries their finishers, but each man reverses. Then they lock up again, and each man attempts a suplex. I think Cody kicked him in the gut and then put him in the suplex maneuver. Couldn't get him up, and then Seth Rollins and then he reversed it. But couldn't get him. So they're just reversing each other's suplexes, trying to, hit one. And they start out in the middle of the ring, and they work their way as they're attempting suplexes on each other. They work their way out to the apron and to the outside, or to the ropes, and then Cody's able to suplex him out of the ring, but he falls himself and hits the floor, and they both fall pretty hard out there. Corey Graves is putting him over, and he's talking loud enough so Cody can hear him, and I think he was trying to get Cody to, let Cody know he's going to give him some love on TV. Don't worry about that. You know, coming back from AEW, you kind of wonder, like, they gave Cody the superstar treatment. They didn't give him the burial that he would, WCW guys got when they left and came back. He got respect last night, as he should, as a main eventer guy, as a Rhodes. His name, it's in his name. It's in it. He was born for that. Um, Goldust was too, but I think that Cody has already surpassed. Goldust as a character is one of the greatest, probably, characters in wrestling ever. So it's hard to say that he surpassed that, but as far as career-wise and accomplishments and where Cody's headed, he's already passed Goldust, I believe. Because we might be talking about Cody versus Roman Reigns, in the near future. But we'll see. Yeah, so they attempt suplexes. Cody hits the suplex. They both fall out of the ring. Let's see here. Yeah, as they both fall out of the ring, the crowd's chanting Cody. They're really hyped. They're glad Cody's back. Action returns in the ring, and Cody takes control. Cody then goes to the top rope, and Rollins is able to catch him with a drop kick to the ribs, and this allows Seth Rollins to take back an offense on Cody, and he begins like bitch slapping him and kicking him, and while he's down, and he said, "Welcome back, Cody." He's like, he's mouthing him. He's like, "Welcome back to the big leagues, bitch." And then he fucking, bam, he hits him hard as he can on the back of the neck, and Cody's, falling, and, welcome back to WWE, the big leagues, where the big boys play, if you will, if you will. Yeah, a little Dusty Rhodes reference there, if you will. So Seth has got the advantage, and he's working on the hurt ribs. He puts him in a bear hug. He chops him multiple times, gives him some really good chops. You could see at the end of this match, Cody was pretty beat up. He was paying his dues to be back. And I'm sure he was loving every minute of it, soaking it up. His father's looking down on him proud. But, Seth continues with the elbow strikes to the ribs, but Cody's able to fight back, and he hits a fall-away slam and then clotheslines Rollins back out of the ring. Let's see here. Rollins crawls out and then powerbombs Cody on the outside of the ring after what looked like a Hurricane Rana attempt by Cody off of the steps. A failed attempt, a Hurricane Rana. I'm not sure if he meant to fail, if he was supposed to hit it or not, but Rollins caught him, and being the pro he is, he turned it into a powerbomb. No one got hurt. Awesome spot, whether it was a botch or not. So, two pros out there doing fantastic work. So, yeah, Cody gets powerbombed after the failed Hurricane Rana attempt. Then Seth buckle bombs Cody Rhodes into the barricade behind the announce table. Then the action slowly returns back into the ring as Seth sets up his arsenal, his setting up his finishing maneuvers, and he hits the Falcon Arrow for a 2 count. Seth is still in control, but Cody is able to hit the Crossroads for a 2 count. Another near fall. The crowd's on the edge of their seat. I know my heart was beating fast the whole time, and I was marking out from beginning to end. It was just, it had me like my hand was in my face, or it was a really tense situation, man. I could imagine being there. But so they're in the ring. Both men are fighting on the turnbuckle. Seth hits a devastating suplex off the top rope. Then he hits he had like him in a dragon sleeper type maneuver, and then he hits Cody with the suplex while he's got the dragon. So it's like a dragon suplex of some sort, and another near fall. Crowd's going crazy, and both men are spent. Both men, they're really giving it their all. Rollins goes to the top. He misses a move but lands on his feet, and he tries a pedigree. Cody reverses, and then there's a series of pinning combinations like roll-ups and small packages and whatnot. Cody gets up from that, and then he hits a power bomb, then climbs to the top rope, and then he hits and I was waiting on him to do this because he was like basically pulling out all of his moves, and I was waiting on him to hit the big diamond cutter move. And so he climbs to the top rope, and he hits a flying cutter on Rollins off the rope, and it was picture perfect. Very good. And then, he pins him, and then 1, 2, gets a 2 count, another near fall. The crowd's chanting, "This is awesome," at this point, as they have been probably through the whole match. And I noticed there were chants started through the match, and I believe that place was so big of a place, and it was so loud in there that all the chants were almost getting lost because of how loud it was. But let's see where we were here. All right. So both men get up, and Rollins connects with the pedigree. As he finally hits the pedigree, and then another near fall. 1, 2, nope, that's not going to do it. So the two get up, and they start sharing punches back and forth, sharing really stiff blows, beating the hell out of each other. And then Cody's able to grab him and get him in the crossroads position, and he hits a crossroads twice. And then on the third one, Rollins could barely stand, and Cody's having to hold him up, and he's like, "Hold on, wait a second." And he lets him go, and then he starts doing the Dusty Rhodes jabs, the lefts, and then the rights, and then the jabs, and then he does the roll up, and then the big bionic elbow, boom. Crowd's just freaking going crazy. Commentators are going crazy. Oh man, I'm going crazy. Everybody's going crazy. Bionic elbow, then he hits the third crossroads to get the win. Cody Rhodes is back. He beats Seth Rollins. It's going to be amazing. He's going to make Raw I'm pretty sure he'll end up on Raw, but he's going to make WWE better. I'm telling you, just having him there, it's almost like having CM Punk in AEW. It's like having Cody back's huge for WWE. I'm very excited about this. I'm glad it's finally happening. So crowd is hyped, and after it to be. So Backlash kicks off with Cody versus Seth, and before this started, I was hoping that they would start the show like this, so I could see the match I was most looking forward to at the beginning of the night, and not have to wait all night and worry about falling asleep and missing it and watching it later. But so the show starts out with Cody and Seth. The crowd is really loud. They're really excited. Seth comes out in his garment that he wore at WrestleMania, his kind of goofy blue outfit that he was dancing around in at WrestleMania 38 before he got to the ring, and Cody comes out, of course, in his what would you call it, his suit, his winged jacket, sports jacket suit. He's really got a unique look going to him, and honestly, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Bret Hart and what he wore in the 90s, especially the early 90s, coming out as champion with that winged eagle belt, and that's what Cody's looking to do, and he's really got a awesome look to him that I think he's really getting over with the fans, and even maybe some of the fans that weren't familiar with what he was doing over in AEW. There was a point in the show where they were talking about ring rust, and Corey Graves like, he don't got ring rust. He's been wrestling all over the world, for the past 6 years, which is true. Corey Graves is pretty good at his job, and his wrestling history, and just little things that he says. And I'll mention something that he said during the Omos versus Bobby Lashley match coming up. That he always throws little things in there, little shout outs to old wrestlers and this and that, and little little winks, to some of the boys. But anyway, the match starts out with Cody and Seth. This is, their rematch from WrestleMania Part 2. The match starts out, and the first match, Seth wasn't really prepared. He didn't know who he was going to wrestle at WrestleMania. Vince kept it a secret from him. And then it just so happened to be Cody. So, Seth comes back into this match, and he's, a little bit, well, actually, he's very prepared. Cody's going to try a barrage of moves in his moveset, and Seth's going to, have the timing down and reverse it. The match started out with some test of strength stuff, some backing off stuff, and but Cody tried that bump uppercut that he does, and then he comes up with the gold dust uppercut, that he does, and Seth was, one step ahead of him, and he reversed that, and I think he tried to do it again, and then he reversed it again. But the match was back and forth. Cody's able to finally hit that patented uppercut on Seth. Then he gives him a devastating brainbuster suplex, which he kept him in the air for a good long while. And then it wasn't like a normal brainbuster. When he came down, he planted him on his face, which was pretty cool. And then he disaster kicks Rollins for a near fall, so he only gets a 2 count. Then Cody tries a second disaster kick. Let's see here, what's it say? Cody then tries a second disaster kick, and Rollins throws him off of the apron. Okay, so Rollins, takes back control after he kind of counters that move that Cody was getting ready to do. Once again, he's one step ahead of Cody in this one here. Let's see here. Rollins cinches in a deep sleeper hold on Cody. He really got it in, and he's got him down on the mat, and really probably doing some illegal choking maneuver there, but it's really got an effect on Cody. But Cody eventually fights out of the sleeper, and they fight their way onto the turnbuckle, and then Cody hits a suplex, and both men are down. Very good match so far. Still back and forth, basically. But they both get up and they start brawling and trading fists and chops, and they're really going in on each other. And Cody is able to hit a Cody cutter for another near fall. The crowd's loving it, going crazy. Seth gets up and gives Cody a fight, and he hits the enziguri, and then he just gave him a badass super kick to the face and pins Cody for a 2 count. So another near fall. A lot of near falls in this match. A few of them you really thought the match was going to end, especially later on in Seth's favor. Seth then attempts the pedigree. Cody escapes the attempt, and then he attempts a pedigree of his own. And then he's really working the crowd, and he gives them a look, gives the crowd a look, and the crowd's going nuts. And Rollins reverses that with a spinning discus punch and really planting a good elbow into him, and dazed him, Then he hits Rhodes in the back of the head with another elbow, just straight up, bam, welcome back, Cody, another one of them. And then he hits a signature Falcon Arrow for another near fall. The crowd at this point, they're loving it, and they're chanting, "This is awesome," of course, but rightfully so during this match. You get a lot of "this is awesome" during whatever kind of match, but this one right here deserves it here. Cody tries to kick off the ropes for another Cody cutter, and then Seth catches Rhodes and gives him a buckle bomb, the power bomb into the corner of the turnbuckle, and then he hits a frog splash for another 2 count. So it's getting even closer and closer in Seth's favor with these near falls, to the point to where I was like, man, Seth's probably going to win this here. The fighting continues. Rollins hits a superplex. Then he hit the superplex on Cody, and he kept him locked in, and to get back up to do like maybe another suplex, or I think he was going to maybe do his Falcon Arrow and end the match. And but yeah, he hits the superplex, and he tries for another move, which would probably been the Falcon Arrow, and Cody reverses that into a crossroads. And good ring psychology or mental awareness or ring awareness to know where he was at. And Seth, he rolled after the move, after Cody hit him with the crossroads, he rolled to the ropes. Cody pinned him, and then he kicked out. Or no, he didn't kick out, but he got the rope break. So good awareness for him to kind of roll after the move over to the ropes to get the rope break so he could put his foot on the rope. So very good match. Very good match. Seth gets a rope break. Rhodes attempts a moonsault and misses, allowing Rollins to hit the pedigree for the 2 count. Another near fall, and this near fall right here, I thought was over. I thought, man, that it would be a good way to take it home right here. But the match went on. There's a sequence of moves between the two, and then Seth catches Rhodes in a roll-up. He catches Seth in a roll-up, and he's got his tights, cheating. and he almost gets the 3 count. And after that, Cody reversed that and did the same and grabbed his tights, and only he got the 3 count. So Cody cheats to win. I guess you could say, you know, Seth deserved it. You know, Seth was going to cheat, so, you know, why can't Cody, you know? But, you know, it says in between the sequence of moves between the finish, Cody attempted a vertebreaker, which I don't think I've seen that move in a while, which Corey Graves called that one out. He's like, what is he doing? Is he attempting is that a vertebreaker? And I was like, well, it is. You know, I ain't seen that in a while, or at least, you know, maybe I ain't watched enough wrestling. But anyhow, Cody cheats. I guess. You know, he does. He does. He breaks the rules. The ref ain't looking, so that gives another opening for the third match. I'm not too much of a fan of 50-50 booking, but I kind of thought Seth, if they're gonna have a rematch, that Seth maybe should win the second one. But you know, Cody goes up 2-0, you know, which I didn't want Cody to lose. But I also kind of didn't want to see, if Cody beat Seth for the second time, I didn't want to see a third time him beating him again. I mean, what's the point? But it kind of has an opening, kind of a story there. You know, Seth got screwed over once again. You know, the first time he didn't know who his opponent was. And the second time, you know, even though he tried to cheat himself in the pin, you know, in the roll-up, grabbing Cody's tights, and Cody did that to him, you know, it is what it is, but it looks like there's probably going to be another match between them. And they've been producing some great matches. I'm not going to forget these, you know, they're going to stand out as some of the best matches of the year. A great feud for Cody coming back to the WWE with a talent the caliber of Seth. And I thought Seth's character was getting a little dry before this feud with Cody, but you know, even though Seth's losing, you know, he's still putting on good quality matches and showstoppers, you know. So but good job to them both. Great match to kick off the show, you know. Good luck to the rest of the guys and girls, you know, having to follow that. But good match to kick off the opening of Backlash. So here we go to the main event. Cody versus Seth, part 3. Inside Hell in a Cell. So we got the news that Cody's injured. You know, he's hurt his pec and his shoulder, and he's all bruised up. And you're gonna see when he comes to the ring how hurt he is. But and that's what we're all anticipating, what he's gonna look like when he gets to the ring here. Cody's really going into hell here with Seth, you know. And if you think about Seth's character, is kind of like the devil. He plays that part, you know, very manipulative, and he's very dangerous too. But he hasn't been able to beat Cody here out of the, you know, the 2 matches that they've had, WrestleMania and WrestleMania Backlash. But the third match. So let's see, you know, if Seth can defeat Cody with the injury here. The dirt sheets were saying that because of the injury, they might have scrapped the finish or changed the finish around. Of course, to suit Cody, you know, and not further injure his injury. He, in all reality, probably shouldn't have gone out there and wrestled, but he would anyway, and he showed the courage, of hopefully a future champion. But and I think we're all under the understanding that he's probably not coming back for a while after this match. Assuming that you guys have already watched this match here, so I'll lay it out here for those who might not have gotten to watch it. We're going to talk about it here because this is going to be a classic. This is an instant classic. This match, I think, will forever be remembered. You're going to remember in 2022 the Hell in a Cell match between Cody and Seth, their third match that year. Cody going into this injured in his last match for 6 months or however long it's going to be. We're going to remember all of this story, that's the amazing thing about it. I don't remember the last time somebody's walked into a match like this besides HBK at WrestleMania against Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could see how much pain he was in when he went out there with a broken back, and then he was gone for 6 years, 4 to 6 years, or how I think it was 6 years, something like that he was injured there, or didn't wrestle. But okay, we'll start with the entrances here. Seth Rollins comes out, like I said, the devil, he's playing mind games here. Commenters or commentary team are selling it really well. But Seth comes out wearing yellow polka dots. The same polka dots that Dusty wore in the late 80s in the WWF. Bold heel move there by Seth. But like I said, Cody's injured. He's like a one-armed man in an ass-kicking contest here. Very vulnerable going into the most dangerous match in wrestling against one of the most dangerous opponents today in wrestling, in my opinion here. And so Seth is taunting, walking down with the Dusty colors. It was pretty pretty crazy. But anyway, Cody comes down looking as only he can look. He comes down with all the pyro and fireworks, like nothing's wrong with him, until he gets inside the cell and gets in the ring and takes off his jacket during the entrances, and then you can see just how hurt he is, and that he's actually walking into hell here. This had a very eerie, dark, demented feeling, kind of like it did back in the day, back into the very first. Remember the very first Hell in a Cell. Flies out here. Remember back to Bad Blood 97. Yeah, Bad Blood 97. The very first Hell in a Cell match, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, and Kane makes his debut. Dark, demented, evil, sadistic Hell in a Cell match. Memorable, classic. There's been some Hell in a Cell matches that you don't even remember. But you're always going to remember this, I think, 20, 30, 40 years from now. You will look back at this match as one of the best of the decade, or however you want to rank it. But Cody goes into the cell injured and takes the jacket off, and the crowd is stunned, and it's almost quiet for a few minutes when the match starts. We don't know what to think here. We're just, a jaw-dropping moment. Uh, we know we're in for it and we're about to see something great, even if it's a short 10-12 minute match. um, Kudos to Cody for going out there and giving the fans who they wanted to see. Uh, like his song says, give the fans what they came to see. And he's doing it every week, and it's just a shame that he's injured now. But my thoughts before the match were that Seth is gonna prey on his arm, and that's exactly what he did. He was like licking his chops, when he took that jacket off. He's just sadistically smiling, and he's like, "I'm gonna get you, boy." He's like just thinking in his head, but and it's a huge disadvantage for Cody here. And my thoughts were, Seth's probably gonna get the best of him in this match here. There were even rumors of, like I said, the very first Hell in a Cell match, Kane made a debut. It could be an Impact like that, rumored Fiend return for Hell in a Cell here. Fiend could be underneath the ring the whole time. But so just keep that in the back of your head. But as this match continues, you'll start to forget about the Fiend, and you'll wish you never even. You're hoping that the Fiend isn't under the ring, and you're hoping that the Fiend doesn't come out and ruin this here. They've ruined classic matches in the WWE by doing that kind of stuff. I believe, this isn't the time right here. I bet when Cody went out to the ring when they were in Gorilla, Vince, I could just imagine like the conversations they were having and the emotions, and like Vince going out there and letting him do that because he knows history's about to go down, and that's what Vince is about. But crazy goosebumps, just because you're gonna get. I mean, you get great wrestling matches, but not just moments like when it's like really working you. I watched this match last night and just like blown away. And then I watched it again when I woke up this morning before I filmed here. And it almost had me in tears. Like how great they were working this match. And just knowing that I got the chance to watch this in real time is a good feeling. You remember big matches like that and where you were, and and always going to remember this match here and cherish it as one of my favorite matches. And Cody's really become a lot of respect for Seth too, but Cody's really, as you can see here, become my one of my favorite wrestlers, or became my favorite wrestler right now for sure. I know I'm a mark. I got the t-shirt, but that's my name, right? So it's all good. He's the greatest wrestler alive today, in my opinion. But that's arguable. He'll come back and prove it. But anyway, Cody tries to wrestle with one arm. Has little effect on Seth. So Cody, he tries to take him down to the mat with a figure four. Good idea there, good strategy, trying to get him down and wrestle on your legs, thinking like a great wrestler, thinking like a Lou Thez would, like a Vern Gagne, what would they do here in this situation with no arm, you know, or one arm? So Cody, you know, takes him down with the figure four, and he's got him in the figure four. But Seth, he's locked in the figure four, and he's rolling outside of the ring, and he starts grabbing shit from out underneath the ring, and he grabs a kendo stick and just starts whacking his injured arm and his injured chest. Very painful to watch, and I'm like, man, they're working that arm too. Like, Cody's one tough son of a bitch, man. Like, this is like, think about brute, true, alpha male strength, you know. This is like Dick the Bruiser shit here. So Seth begins to hit his injured arm with a kendo stick. Seth begins to use it as a weapon and then starts the attack on the outside of the ring. Seth's even stabbing the injured muscle. Looks pretty gruesome. Seth uses the steps and connects with Cody's head. During this move here, Cody sold the arm more. He sold his arm more than getting hit in the head with the steps. You know, he could really tell that he was in pain. You know, he's selling the arm a little bit. Like, he's selling it probably about 10%. The other 90 is just pure pain and endurance and just alpha male strength, you know. We might have to pause this here and pick it up somewhere else. I'm getting rained on. We're just going to finish it out here with pictures, with audio commentary here. It started raining on me, and I don't have a normal setup, and I was outside enjoying the weather, and a storm came in. I thought I had enough time to film before that would happen, but the rain's here a little earlier, so I do apologize, but we'll try it out this way. This is the way I was thinking about originally trying to do this video, so we'll see how it works out here for the rest of this match. So where were we here? Seth uses the steps and he connects with Cody. He hits Cody, you know, in the head, and like I said, Cody's selling the arm more because his arm's hurting him so bad. But then Seth gets out of the ring, and he puts Cody's American Nightmare jacket on, and he's taunting Cody and taunting the crowd, and Cody can't get up, you know, and he pulls out a bag from underneath the ring. And, you know, of course, when bags get pulled out from underneath the ring, you immediately think thumbtacks, and thumbtacks would have been so bad for Cody, but instead it was a polka dotted weightlifting belt, you know, with the Dusty Rhodes polka dots once again, and it says Visionary on it, you know, of course in honor of Seth. And Seth gets in the ring and he gives him one hard lick, you know, and then another hard lick. So he gives him 3 hard licks with the weightlifting belt. He gave him pretty good ones too. And I'm not sure if this was the moment or not. You know, I think there was a moment in this match. There was a spot like this where Seth was hitting him, and he kind of looked like he wanted to go a different route or go move on to a different spot or something, and Cody was just telling him, come on, hit me again. Just crazy tough son of a bitch. But Seth gives him 3 hard licks with the weightlifting belt, and he actually pins him. And Cody is not going to take it lying down, of course, and he kicks out. You know, he could have just gave up there, but Seth, you know, was going to allow him to give up there, and, you know, he kicks out at 2. Rollins then grabs a table. The crowd had been chanting, "We want tables," all night long. And even during the Madcap Moss versus Baron Corbin match, They were chanting, "We want tables," and Madcap yells out to him, "I don't need tables. I'm going to kick his ass by myself," And that worked good in his match, because that was the story they were telling in that match. But Seth grabs a table, and the crowd's just loving it, and the crowd starts chanting, "Thank you, Rollins," when he grabs the table. So Cody and Seth start battling in the corner, as Seth preparing the table. The crowd's chanting, "Thank you, Rollins." Rollins sets up for the superplex. Cody reverses out of the superplex and gets Rollins into a power bomb position. It looks pretty gnarly, him holding him up like that with his injured arm. But Seth gets out of that, and then he gives Cody a couple hard elbows to the back of the head, them big Seth Rollins welcome back Cody elbows to the back of the neck and the head, and he lays Cody out on the table there, and he gets up on the top rope and he goes for a big frog splash, but Cody rolls off the table and Rollins misses and crushes through the table. Crowd is going crazy. I'm not sure where the minute mark is in this match, but maybe not even halfway through the match yet here. It's a great endurance by Cody here. Cody rolls out of the ring and he grabs a bag of his own that has a bull rope in it, with a big bell on it, cowbell or whatever, and he how fitting, for that to be under the ring. Like, it's just further telling the story of Dusty Rhodes, the tradition behind the bull rope there. And he attaches it to his wrist, and he gets in the ring and he starts screaming at Seth, demanding him to put the bull rope, attach it onto the other end of it, attach it onto his wrist. And Seth's looking at him like, "You're a freaking maniac, man. I'm not even that crazy," and Cody's just screaming, "Put it on! Do it now!" And then Seth's like, all right, I'll do it. And, and he starts getting in that violent zone, it was pretty cool, man. And, yeah, he's screaming, put it on, damn it. And he puts it on, and now our Hell in a Cell match is officially turned into a bull rope match. Wild angles in this match here. They wrestle with the bull rope for a little bit, and then there's a spot where they get out of the ring, and Seth, catapults him from the other end of catapults Cody's arm into the ring post, further injuring his arm. And it's hurting Cody pretty bad at this point. And as the match progressed, his injury looked worse and worse as this match continues. Seth is able to escape from the bull rope on the outside after, he does that to Cody, and Seth grabs another table. He tries a power bomb on Cody, but Cody reverses into a crossroads. Seth kicks out for near fall for a 2 count. They both get up, and Seth is able to buckle bomb Cody into the table that was in the corner. Seth, at this point, he's getting frustrated. He wants to end Cody here. He goes back to the outside for another weapon, and this time it's a sledgehammer. How symbolic the sledgehammer is in this match. Seth brings the sledgehammer into the ring, and he tries to hit Cody with it, and he misses. Cody hits with a kick to the gut. Seth tries a pedigree, but Cody counters into a pedigree of his own. And Cody's pedigree, when he gave Seth the pedigree, he got some major air, and the both of them even bounced off of the mat. Great pedigree for a count of 2. So another near fall here, and this match is quickly turning into an instant classic, and I'm just hoping that the Fiend doesn't ruin this, at this point. This is my notes here. It says random thought. I hope the Fiend doesn't ruin this. But so Seth kicks out of the near fall, and Cody then grabs the sledgehammer. Rollins then starts to run from Cody. He gets out of the ring and starts to run from Cody with Cody's got the hammer, and he's chasing after Seth with it. Cody's chasing Seth around the ring with this hammer, that he can barely hold in his arm. It looked pretty crazy, his injured arm holding up that hammer. But Cody chases him around the ring, and then Cody ends up climbing in the ring, and Seth catches him at just the right time with a curb stomp. Cody kicks out for another near fall. The sold out crowd in Chicago chants, "This is awesome." And rightfully so, of course. They're putting on a great match here. Seth misses with another curb stomp. Rhodes reverses into a crossroads. He doesn't hit it, but Seth reverses and hits a crossroads. So Cody went for the crossroads. Seth reverses it into the crossroads of his own. And then Cody, after he got hit with his own move, Cody goes ballistic into beast mode and basically no-sells the crossroads Seth just gave him and gives him the real crossroads. Gives Seth Rollins a crossroads there. They're both laid out. The sledgehammer is still laying in the ring. They both start crawling towards the sledgehammer. Cody gets to it first, but his arm gives out. Cody drops it. Seth is now in possession of the sledgehammer. He measures up Cody, waiting on him. He's looking at him. He's measuring Cody, waiting on him to get up. He's wanting to end it once and for all. But Cody kicks the hammer out of Rollins' hand, and he hits another crossroads. Then gives Seth a second crossroads in a row. Cody almost gives Rollins a third crossroads, but decides to throw him down to the mat. Cody goes into beast mode once again and musters the strength to pick up the sledgehammer. He hits Seth hard with the sledgehammer. Seth's down. Cody covers him. 1, 2, 3. Cody wins the match, the third match against Seth Rollins. He remains undefeated against Seth Rollins, of at least being back in WWE here. So, the Cody versus Seth saga here is Cody 3's Seth 0. But even though Seth loses, he's proven that he's his matches are showstoppers, He even reminded me of Shawn Michaels. There was a point in the match here where he told the cameraman, "Get out of my way," or he's like, "Move it," and he kind of gives him a little shove, or whatever. And Shawn would even do that. He'd even push the cameraman. He'd Dennis Rodman somebody, push him out of the way if they were in his way, of what he was trying to do. But great story being told here. I would show this match here to somebody that doesn't watch wrestling. If they asked me, why do you watch that stuff? And I would show, this would be a match that I would show them. It would make them a believer. Cody, that's what he does. He's got a good way of making you believe in him. And he knew he had to go out there. He talk about, running from your legacy in the past, but he's chasing after that legacy now. He's chasing through hell and back. for that legacy, to be WWE champion. And I've got tremendous amount of respect for Cody. Like I said earlier, he's my favorite wrestler right now, and because of all this, Seth is too, and I've got a tremendous amount of respect for Seth in this. He hit him hard in this match. Sometimes I think Cody was asking for it, but Seth hit him hard. It was a very stiff match. They're in a freaking Hell in a Cell. But he still took care of him. So tremendous amount of respect and showmanship for Seth Rollins, and tremendous amount of courage and strength. Just he Cody's a superstar. He didn't have to do what he did. He didn't have to go through hell and back for us. Like he's done so many times, like he did so many times for AEW, and they didn't appreciate him. That's a different story, but Cody's in the right place, and this just cements his legacy. Like, imagine the babyface reaction he's going to get when he returns. I hope it's not in 6 months. I hope it's not that long. I hope he can rebound from this, and, I know Cody's trying to be the best he can be, but I think he may be kind of overdoing it. Because he's getting big in his physique, if you haven't noticed lately. He's looking good, but he might be pushing himself a little too hard. So this might kind of wisen him up a little bit here, to kind of slow down a little more. But I don't think this will stop his momentum. I think when he comes back, he'll have even more momentum, because people can't forget about this and what they just seen. Instant classic. I don't know how Dave Meltzer couldn't give this 5 stars. And if he didn't give this 5 stars, well, fuck Dave Meltzer. That's all I got to say about that. Tremendous show tonight. Becky Lynch and Asuka and Bianca kicked it off, and then Cody and Seth come out there and seal the deal. Only one Hell in a Cell match tonight inside the cell. I kind of like it that way. I like the way it turned out, because of how dark and demented this match ended up being, but how emotional it became. Cody even gave a speech, at the end of it, and this run isn't over with. It's just, he'll be back, better than ever. But if you've liked this video and you've stuck around this long and listened to me jabber, please like this video. It does a tremendous amount of help for the channel when you like, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't, and share the video around if you've liked it. I know this video's kind of turned out a little different than my others, but it's just the way it is. But I'm gonna keep pushing through it, right? So just like Dusty Rhodes said, keep stepping. You gotta keep going. No matter what you're faced up against, like Cody. There's a message in all this. That's the story that was told. I could go on and on and on, but I'll stop there. But please subscribe to the video, or this channel if you haven't. Please like the video and share. And I will see you next time.